The Supreme Court, where individual rights are supposed to be protected, think it's fine if government invades our financial privacy, spies on us in our bedrooms, regulates church schools, and restricts our free speech. Meanwhile, at the Congress, everything is up for grabs as long as it's yours.
Welcome to On Second Thought. I am Brianna Moore, co-hosting today. Thank you for joining us, where William J. Wagner gives you reason to have second thoughts. Now for the host and producer, the good guy in the white hat, William J. Wagner.
I am William J. Wagner, the guy in the white hat, taking off for you. Thank you for letting us come into your home today to bring you another show. Today's show, I hope, will give you second thoughts as to whether you can trust your federal government. Me personally, I'd rather trust the county sheriff, deputies, and the local police before I'd trust any federal agent. Today's show is dedicated to Sergeant Terry Yeakey, Oklahoma City PD. Sergeant Yeakey spent 48 hours after the Oklahoma bomb blast helping out without sleep, without stopping, helping the victims. This is a scene shot on April 19th, 1995, anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Sergeant Yeakey distinguished himself, and he was scheduled to receive an award at City Hall and would have received it, except he was brutally murdered. And this was a big cop. This guy was more than 6'3", weighed way over 200 pounds, and there wasn't any fat on this man. Yet he was listed as a suicide. And the information we're going to bring you today, I think, will make it clear to you. Sergeant Yeakey, who had a habit of always carrying a camcorder with him on duty and off duty, that day on March 19th was parked across from the Alfred P. Murrah building in Oklahoma City, and he saw something and he videotaped it. He kept a lockbox in joint custody with a man named Chumley. Both Chumley and Sergeant Yeakey are dead and have been dead now for a decade. Today's show is dedicated to Sergeant Terry Yeakey, one of America's finest, who was killed, I believe, murdered by people working for what President Bush calls not nice people. I could sit here and tell you what I found out in my research, but rather than do that, I'd like to bring you Kerry James Kagan and listen to his testimony. He was the guy that supplied the detonators, the explosives, the C4, to the people who really blew down the Alfred P. Murrah building in the morning of April 19th, 1995. Part of our push towards a new world order, they have to take away your civil liberties, and all these disasters are part of the plan to take away every last constitutional right. Bill they passed that brought in Homeland Security, called the U.S. Patriot Act, is the most ungodly, most unconstitutional law ever irregularly adopted by Congress without even reading it. Mr. Kagan, face to face, as he talks under sworn oath before a court reporter, under oath to a committee for truth in Oklahoma City, chaired at the time by a former federal grand juror, Hoppy Heidelberg. I give you Mr. Kagan.
Because at 8:15 they had on blue shirts and blue pants. So that was the first thing. But another thing that I had that caused my attention was that that woman about alcohol.
Good guy.
There were two.
Our sole media representative is Mr. Bob Sands with KKNG, so any of you who don't listen to KKNG, I would encourage you to do so.
93.3.
A number of us have started listening to it just out of respect for Bob, because he appears to be the only media person that cares about the truth. I'm Hoppy Heidelberg, chairman of the Committee for the Truth. These public hearings are sponsored by Oklahomans for the Truth Incorporated, a corporation that myself and B.Z. Lawton and Jane Graham farmed, Carrie, but she is going to testify today. And we're here to take the testimony under oath, as the sign says, from Kerry Kagan and Jane Graham. he was involved with the Middle Eastern terrorists that, I say, blew up the building. Jane Graham was in the building. She's a survivor. She works for the government. She was in the building. She has some very strong questions or doubts about the government story, and for that reason has decided to help us pursue the truth, and she has been willing to testify. And so I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's about 1:27. This is Saturday, March the 13th, 1999. So we will swear in Mr. Gagan. He'll be the first to testify.
I do.
Mr. Gagan, would you give us your full name and current address?
Yeah, my name is Kerry James Gagan. I reside in Littleton, Colorado at 66.
Would it be fair for me to represent your occupation as that of an international importer and a domestic transporter?
Yeah, that'd be in that area, yeah.
I think the first thing we want to clear up, because the government has taken great pains to try to discredit you, and the thing they say is that you're a mental case. Are you a mental case, Mr. Gagan?
I don't think so. I think that's a technique they've used on other people that have worked for them, and you know, they always try and indicate that you got mental instability, but it all reverts back. They didn't have to give me immunity, but they did.
Can you give us a specific instance of when you were uncooperative with your attorney one time, and how the grounds that they think they have to?
Oh yeah, I was being tried in Arapahoe County on some theft, attempted theft, and criminal impersonation charges up there. They wouldn't give me bond on a case like that, which is wrong, and so I wouldn't cooperate with my attorney. So he filed a motion with the court to say that I wouldn't do that. So they sent me down to the state hospital as incompetent to proceed because I wouldn't cooperate with my attorney. But I stayed down there about a month or so, and they sent a report back that I was just fine. And when I got back to court, I was allowed to represent myself on a 8-count felony trial, of which a preliminary hearing, I think I had 3 counts dropped. It just, that's what it basically is. The only time I was committed to this hospital, and the report from the state psychiatrist said, I had above average intelligence, could reason, no paranoia, none of that. So that's the only thing they based their statement on after I'd had immunity already for approximately a year.
Do you presently represent yourself pro se in legal actions?
Yeah, I've had several cases. One case I've taken all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and one against the State Attorney General who altered my transcripts on appeal and wouldn't give them to me, and I took her to the U.S. Supreme Court and I won. And now I filed an action against the U.S. government in January of '97 based upon my this bombing and the lack of the agents assisting me and directing me. Now I've filed 2 more recent ones under the Federal Claims Tort Act against the U.S. government for negligence and intentional infliction of emotional distress, and one against the sheriff of Arapahoe County, Colorado, who posted a shoot-on-sight order against me in the jail there in Colorado and in his office building, and also the patrol building, saying that I was armed and dangerous, that I was a terrorist, that I had threatened to shoot Arapahoe County officials, and down at the bottom of the posted warning was SOS, and which meant shoot on sight. My friend's a private investigator, and she saw it as she went.